It's Jason Abraham, the shadow teacher, and one of my mentors uses the term anti-social media in regards to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And I'm going to talk to you about that today, especially since we had the big incident earlier in the week with Facebook being down, and there's all kinds of ideas of why that actually is. I'm going to keep my ideas to myself at the moment, but I want to talk to you a little bit about my relationship with Facebook and social media and the value that I found in disconnecting from it. Now, there's a local guy, or he was local at one time, who had a fitness business, and I had a lot of respect for this guy. Very creative guy who'd built a strong online presence, and he pretty much was able to do whatever the fuck he wanted, or so it appeared. And he said to me, he said, these algorithms are dependent on polarity. So if you can make a polarizing statement that makes some people extremely angry but others extremely passionate, and you are a consistent source of that, you get a steady stream of attention. And this guy also, he really loved to trigger people. He loved to just say something just because he knew it was going to make people angry. And again, at that time I was still struggling with people pleasing, but I was also trying to figure out how to expand my fitness business because I felt stuck. And my soul was struggling with its own self-expression, and this guy looked like, he could do whatever he wanted, and it was very clear in how he expressed himself. So I started dabbling in social media. I never really liked Facebook. I don't enjoy the conventions of what I see people posting on there, because it looks like people just post the same kind of shit, and I find it very boring and contrived, and personally don't find much value in it. So I started my YouTube channel, which is originally called just Jason Abraham, and I was doing my Guns N' Roses fitness spiel, which was a villain, a narcissistic health and fitness personal development influencer. It was a character, it was a gimmick, and it bombed on YouTube. But my goal was to just improve my personal skills as a communicator and performer and draw attention to the YouTube channel. So I got on Instagram and started to do short videos, and my Instagram was growing pretty quick for a bit, then it bombed, and then I switched to the shadow teacher, and that was starting to gain some momentum. And then eventually my Instagram was censored because the algorithms did not like the direction I was going in. And I created a new one. And when I came back up, the idea was always to drive people to my long form videos. But I was noticing I was posting regularly, but just nothing was converting. I was buried in this algorithm. So I personally was not getting the value I originally intended and needed from these platforms. And I went on a fast. This actually didn't drive me to a fast. A broken heart drove me to a fast. I had someone who I had a brief falling out with, and I just didn't want to be reminded of them. So I didn't want to unfriend them, because I figured we'd mend our relationship in some point, but I just didn't want to have a reminder of them. So I just stayed off Facebook and Instagram for a good couple of weeks, and I realized how little value these platforms actually brought to my life. And I know other people who share content of consciousness who have about the same level that I do. Had some followers and some growth. They had the same experience. The algorithms were not kind to them, and nobody was hearing what they were putting out. So they got off Facebook and Instagram as well. They took a break from it, and had the same experience, that for what they need, for what their soul needs, these algorithms and these platforms are not providing a whole lot of value. And again, for people, if you have like hundreds of thousands of followers and you're living as that, there are people who've gotten to that point and do great work. It's a different ball game. But for someone like me, who is, again, I'm going about the fourth way of using my gifts of a communicator, a performer, and a teacher, and just trying to find the right avenue of pulling those together to where the people who need to hear my words and feel my presence receive it on a large enough level, and I get back what I need to keep going with that. I'm still searching for that. But again, what I found in these social media platforms, the behaviors that are encouraged are very anti-human. They're anti-social. They reduce people to statistics and data and numbers, and encourage people to fall into these behaviors that are consistent with statistics, data, and numbers, taking away the originality of the human spirit. And when people start to fall in line with that, because they realize, oh, this is what I get likes if I behave this way, my ego likes that, so I'm going to do that. I get followers when I behave this way, my ego likes it when I do that, so I'm going to keep doing that. So when people fall into this, they become less human. And again, this goes back to my videos on the 8th sphere. This video this week kind of ties in other videos I've made, and that just seems to be the effect of all this, the engagement. And when I stepped out of this and I engaged with people in person, it was just like being in a different world. People were human. I always do my best to connect to the human and higher qualities in myself, and try to come from that place when I'm engaging with other people in my real world life. And try to do that in the virtual world as well, even though it's frowned upon these days. And again, huge discrepancy, and I found just a tremendous amount of value in getting off social media, because it was not giving me what I needed. I was just chasing what the algorithm, putting content up, and I toned down my messages because I got censored. I didn't have the big platform to where if they wipe me out, then I'd just disappear and I'd have to start all over, which I did. But maybe it was a gift. Maybe it was a big gift. So when all this shit went down early in the week, I was like, oh well, so be it. We got to find another way. And people need to see things as they are. And I think everybody, if you take a couple of weeks off of Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and connect with people in an honest, authentic way, your eyes may be opened up. That being said, I'm going to end this, my friends. Connect with the truth. Know there's something bigger than what you're being shown, what you're being told. And I'm going to keep saying that, keep exploring that for myself, and I'll see you on the other side.